This is craftsmanship. This is what we love in Swiss traditional watchmaking.
What a dial. It just explodes. Smoking hot. It's beautiful. No question. Mr. Wonderful here with a story of a rather unique brand. It's H.Moser, but everybody just calls him Moser. But here's what I find so interesting about this. 4 years ago, I got a phone call from a very, very respected collector that I work with. That's what I love about the watch community. He's in the United Arab Emirates, and he's got a lot of watches. And he said, Kevin, have you heard about Moser? I said, no. What's the story? He said, crazy dials. You're a dial guy? These guys make crazy dials. Get on the list, you're gonna want one of these things. And I looked at it and said, that is a crazy dial. Who are these guys, you know? And since then, Moser has been rocketing up the charts with collectors because they do crazy dials, and their stories are fantastic. And I happen to have the CEO, Edward, here. I'm going to call him Ed because we're now friends. And he's going to walk us through this remarkable, there's so many independent watch companies, and yet Moser has somehow broken through. And so let's talk about that. Give us the story of Moser.
Wow, how much time do you have?
Well, I want it short and sweet.
Yeah, I will try. It's a big story. It's a long story. Actually, Moser is a pretty old brand. We're actually going to be celebrating the 200 years anniversary in 2028.
You've been around for 200 years.
Yeah.
It's only the last 10 anybody's ever remembered you.
Well, that's when I started. No, our founder, back in the 19th century, was one of the most famous brands. Heinrich Moser and his team, they produced around 500,000 watches. Very famous, like the Tsar would have Moser collaborations with Fabergé, one of the first big collaboration in our industry.
So real watch royalty history here.
Yeah.
It's in the DNA of the brand.
It is definitely. We, as a family, took over in 2012. They were a little bit struggling. We fell in love with the product, the history, the manufacturer. You mentioned the dials, but Moser is also very well known for the movements because we're very integrated. We actually even produce hairsprings. The hairsspring is what makes the time.
That's rare.
So rare.
You provide springs to other makers then.
About 35 brands buy it from us. Many of the independents, the MBNS, those guys.
If you if you're a collector, you understand how the rarity of manufacturing springs is incredible.
Many produce movements, and then they come to us, to our engineers, and they're like, guys, we need a tic-tac in there. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't make much in terms of time. So they come to us, and we help them design, and then we produce for them the escapement. And the escapement is this element that creates the frequency and the time in the watch. And you need a secret formula material, you need the machines, and you need the skills. And that's what we have.
I'm going to guess 100 years ago, the original Moser, at its peak, the 500,000 watches, all that, was not doing crazy dials.
No, back then you were thinking reliability, high quality. Back then, if you had an issue, you would have to take your horses and then bring it back to the workshop in the middle of Switzerland. We're based in Schaffhausen, which is on the far east of Switzerland, the border to Germany. And if you read the books and the biographies of Heinrich Moser, he always says his biggest priority was quality because the issue of back then, or logistical issues. So he did a lot of watches that were...
So reliability was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't want to ride your horse 100 miles.
No, and a lot of those watches were used by the army, by the generals and all those things. So you wanted reliability.
Let's go into a couple of pieces.
For sure.
Show me what's new, what you like about it. I'm seeing some iterations of the Moser-esque dials, some really interesting colors, the richness. Walk me through this tray right here.
So here we have some of the more classic. So we start maybe with the more classic. Moser is known for this understatement, very minimalistic. We said no branding.
Yeah.
We say our watches do the talking.
Well, actually, it is branded. That's a Moser. I know that's a Moser.
That's the biggest compliment.
Yeah.
That's really what I struggled with when I started saying I want people to tell it's a Moser from 2 meters away without seeing the logo. Anyway, nobody knows our brand. So the product has to talk. So we need to have clear codes in the case and obviously in the dial and
yeah.
So let's take this watch, for example, which is very important to me. That's a Perpetual Calendar in the Endeavor collection with a very special case. It's made of tantalum. It's a very special material.
Yeah, it's got that subtle tantalum look. Hard to work with that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It was always my dream. Actually, it doesn't make any sense to make this watch. We make it because we're modern, we're having fun, and because my first watch I received from my father, my 18th birthday was a tantalum watch. I was always in my life, I said one day I would love to make it until I realized how difficult it is.
So that's a Perpetual Calendar.
That's a Perpetual Calendar with a blue enamel dial. Enamel is very complex to make. We mix 4 pigments. We spread it with a small pencil on a gold plate hammered. and then we put it 17 times in an oven, and every single time you can break it.
But it has a glow in the center, so you're
Exactly.
spreading down the enamel a different.
So we start with a lighter pigment in the middle, and then we try to reproduce this fumé effect. So the fumé effect is really this gradient of color that it made Moser famous. It's been copied a lot. We traditionally have what we call the lacquer dials, which is a little bit easier than...
This is more complications in this piece.
Exactly. This isn't lacquered. This is an enamel dial.
What's the price point on this piece?
Here we're around $85,000.
Okay.
Whereas here we're around $15,000. It's a really different complication as well. Here we have a perpetual calendar. It's probably one of, we call it the king of the complication. It's a watch that knows whether you have 28, 29, 30, or 31 days in the month. You don't need to touch the date. And it's one of the most special because you can move forward, backwards at any time of the day. Perpetual calendars, as you know, can be broken easily. And then servicing costs a bomb and takes forever. And here we have a child-proof perpetual calendar.
It's beautiful, and it also has a stunning texture dial.
Exactly, it's hammered on a gold plate.
That's what I see. I see
a lot of transparency. And it's a very Asian, very traditional technique. But with the colors we play with, it becomes suddenly very modern and sexy.
Mr. Wonderful here. No one needs a watch, but everybody wants one. Why? Because it marks a moment of time in your life. Many watches appreciate in value over time. That's why I created WonderCare. Want to learn more about insuring your watch? Go to WonderCare.com.
Now, this is close to my heart because it's
This is the sister of yours.
the sister, exactly.
So we have the black hole on your wrist, which is the Vanta Black, and here we have the Milky Way, so to say.
Yes,
this dial is very special. It's a glass. It's not a stone. It looks like a stone. It's called aventurine. There's an aventurine stone. This is a glass that was created by accident in the, I can't remember which century, but many centuries ago by monks. They were doing, those glasses in the churches, different colors. At one point, some copper flakes fell into a melted glass, blue glasses, and it came out as this beautiful glass with those sparkles on it. We call it aventurine dials. There's different type of quality of those, very difficult to make, but it's basically a dark blue with copper flakes in there.
Very interesting. Another Moser dial. Another Moser dial.
Moser, yeah. I mean, I believe this is like the camper.
I still like mine better. Let's talk about this one.
That's another experiment. We like to go a little bit offbeat sometimes.
Is this steel?
It's steel. It's kind of a entry level. We're introducing here a new movement.
Price point?
201, about $15,000.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, where can someone go that can't afford $80,000? I always want to show them an entry level. That's clearly a Moser. There's no question.
Oh, it's a
beautiful,
Moser.
Lovely band, blue. That's very interesting.
Yeah. You can have a steel bracelet on that, the right strap. I was surprised. My team said, "Oh, we should try it on white. Looks very good." You have a Supernova on the rim, inside on the hand, so it glows in the dark. We like at Moser to do the unexpected. We believe we like the haute couture of watchmaking, not the prêt-à-porter. So we try to create the trend.
But I'm very happy
side step
that you're providing an entry-level price point, something reasonable, because not everybody.
I mean, this is even. I mean, our entry point is about 13, 14,000.
Is that 13, 14?
Around that.
Another very rich, interesting green.
That's a cosmic green. There's always this is citrus, this is cosmic green. It's 120 meter water resistant. Many different straps. Super Luminova, really easy to wear and a beautiful movement.
Is this the lowest price Moser you can get?
This is a 13 around that. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
So it's very unique, and it's
so we have. I mean, the Tourbillons are going to be expensive. There's no question about it. But
they're expensive. But if you compare even with others, I mean, like this piece, we can probably look
let's
at.
Let's have a look. Bring those over.
This is the Streamliner Skeleton Tourbillon double hairspring. This is something that we just released a couple of days ago. Big success for the fair. Yeah, it's quite amazing. In 40 millimeter, 120 meter water resistant.
Wow.
And usually a tourbillon like this,
is titanium?
This is steel, but the movement is so much skeletonized. I love symmetry. I mean, a bit obsessed with symmetry, so we spend a lot of time in making sure like the bridges are very well
it's a really
aligned.
Beautiful skeleton.
And here you would go to most of the established brands. You'll be in the mid 150 to 100,000 tourbillons. Yeah. Here, fully in-house skeleton double hairspring. So like yours, we have two hairspring compensating each other, so highest precision. And yet we are around $90,000. So an amazing, I think, price positioning, a beautiful bracelet that we
very nice
years
bracelet.
To develop. That's the Streamliner collection. That's been a big hit for us. creating something that's kind of different from the others.
So 90K.
Oh, 90K, yeah.
All right. Keep going. I see a gold version there.
Yeah, that's my friend's creation. So I said art is important, craftsmanship is important, tradition is important to us. So I had my friend Julianne, she's an engraver. So I asked her to take one of our gold streamliner with the beautiful Vanta Black dial and just create something unique. And she created this beautiful, fully hand engraved. This is our 200 hours of work on the
So
on the case.
this is one of your haute couture pieces.
This is one of them. I mean, there's many things we have some like something similar, full of.
I mean, I
diamonds,
must
but
say-
I feel this is craftsmanship. This is
I mean-
what we love in Swiss traditional watchmaking.
What a dial. It just explodes.
This is a sandwich dial in comparison to yours. We put gold at the back to create those indexes because Vanta Black is a structure of nanotube of carbon that would be destroyed if we put the indexes on top. So we put them at the back, which is very complicated. But that's why, in comparison to yours, you can see the indexes.
So gold was not in favor 10 years ago. Now it's back.
Always cyclical.
Yeah, but it's back big time.
Yeah, even yellow gold now is coming back.
Yellow gold is the hottest gold.
Yeah. It's always like this. Too much steel that brings the gold back.
It gives a gold back, but this is a really, really great iteration of a Moser. Price point on this?
In Swiss francs, we are 100. I should be around 180, something like that.
180.
$1,000, yeah.
Okay, so about 200,000 plus dollars. But for this much gold, of course, it's good.
It's a lot of gold, and key here is the 200 hours of work on hand engraving by a very, very
Is she going to
skilled
continue
artist.
to do this for every issue?
So yeah, we're trying to. The idea is over the next few years to create 10 pieces of that.
10.
But yeah, and I'm talking to her and begging her because
Is this
said
the only
so much
one in
work.
existence right now?
Right now, yeah. I mean, she finished it like a couple of days ago for the fair. She actually came here to see it finished,
Wow.
assembled by the watchmakers.
I mean, that's smoking hot. It's beautiful, no question.
This is art.
All right, let's keep
Love
going.
The story about Moser, a recent story is we just, I mean, Moser historically had never had any sponsorship or partnerships or any kind. But recently we got approached by a Formula One team, French Formula One team, Alpine. The CEO of the Renault Group, the French Renault Group, is a big Moser fan, and they're trying to bring Alpine further up in luxury.
Yeah, I'm well
so
aware. I know where they are in the pecking order.
Oh yeah, they're pretty much at the bottom. We knew that.
Yeah.
They're expecting that.
Yeah.
But anyway, they wanted to work with us. Our father is a big fan of Alpine. It's especially if, popular in the French in
Right.
France.
Yeah.
But anyway, they came to us. We said, interesting. What can we do together? And then we started working on crazy ideas, exchanging engineers. A fun story. I love the journey. And they're starting at the bottom of the back right now in Formula One. We started at the bottom. We love that. We think this, if you experience that, you enjoy going back to the top. So that's the hope. We cheer for them. We're bringing a lot of partners there. And we are launching next week, actually, considering the day we are speaking, a special edition together with Alpine.
So that's the whole excitement around the Miami F1.
Yes,
I mean, that's such a huge race now around the world.
exactly.
So many brand partnerships.
So we're creating a
So this is the F1 Moser? Is that what you're going to call
We're
it?
calling the Alpine,
Alpine.
Moser. It's a cylindrical tourbillon.
Tourbillon, yeah.
Cylindrical.
Skeleton.
Why do we do cylindrical? Because we make our own hairsprings. So we develop a hairspring that is not flat like the others. It's actually cylindrical, which is something that was created in the 18th century for the chronometers in the maritime navigation chronometers,
Yeah.
where you needed concentricity in the hairspring, which is the element that beats to ensure the highest level of precision. And that's impossible to make in recent years, and then until we brought it back. Now a lot of brands are coming back to try to have those hairsprings from us. And here we included in the tourbillon cylindrical skeleton in the streamliner 42.3 millimeter on a beautiful blue strap. Obviously,
Fully
the
automatic.
pilots, the Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, our pilots, they wanted something bold. They want something like, they're like, oh, we see so many other guys with bold.
So some of the
watches.
most expensive watches on earth are skeleton tourbillons. What's this? How much?
We are slightly below 100,000.
That's not bad. But what this is, that's pretty good.
It is really, really good. A lot of people come in and then would expect more
Yep.
in north of the 200.
So this should get a good buzz because it's beautiful. I mean,
And we,
You've somehow kept the Moser-esque aspect to it. I mean, it's got a little Moser in it.
Important, yeah. Alpine has two livery, right? There's the blue and sometimes the pink. So
Yes.
there's going to be a surprise.
Pink band also?
We're going to do a pink version of it. So there's going to be 100 of the...
So the pink would show
Sorry,
up.
there's no red one, but there's going to be pink here and pink there. 10 of them. 11 actually, and one will be auctioned for the BWT Foundation.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love this. This is a pretty broad collection. We have one more sitting up there.
Yeah, that's the masterpiece.
All right, let's look at the masterpiece.
So the masterpiece for us is what we call the miniature Peter tourbillon. Miniature Peter
This is your most high-end configuration?
Yeah, so we make at the moment 1 to 2 pieces a month of the miniature Peter. Miniature Peter is basically a watch that gives you the time not only by the hands but also by the sound. It was created for back then when you didn't have the electricity.
Right.
So people would have to ring their watch to listen to the time at night. So maybe we can hear it. I'm not sure it's going to be very audible. We have here something that I use to test them before we send them to the market. It's an amplifier with a very nice wood from our forest that helps amplify the sound of it. I'm going to take it a little bit close to me. Maybe the microphone can... So this watch gives you, there's a code. The first hammer gives you the hours. The second hammer, the combination of the two gives you the quarters. And then the last one gives you the minutes. And that's how we give the time with those watches.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. So
here we have a titanium version. Titanium is very hard. And that's the one that gives the best, the clearest sound. Gold is a little bit more melodious, but absorbs a little bit of the energy.
it's also got the textured hammer dial.
This is an enamel dial as well, I think.
Beautiful. That's absolutely stunning.
I think it makes really...
So 2 a month, and price point on this?
Yeah, we around 300, 350,000.
That's commensurate. Yeah. So this is a really interesting cross-section of what you're got and what you're bringing.
Yeah.
And a new exciting, I guess, direction for the company in some ways. Affiliation with F1 is a big deal.
It's a big deal. I think it's interesting how we will push us into innovating also with new materials, exploring third dimension, bolder designs. But we want to continue to respect this. I mean, as you see here, like the tradition, the high-end finishing.
I'm impressed. This is a beautiful piece, and I'm going to continue my journey down the rabbit hole named Moser. I think it's wonderful. And you guys have kept true to what you started a decade ago. It's very good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.